Welcome back to Leaps and Hounds, our dog training podcast. And this series, it's all about your questions, any issues that you've got. You've been getting in touch. I've got Kris Glover here. She is the Dogs Trust behaviourist. She's an expert in all things dogs. So she is the one that's going to be giving us the top tips. Great to see you again, Kris.
And great to see you too.
We've got Maggie and Tink, who are sleeping soundly. Your dog's here, very well behaved.
They are good. Not down to me, I might add.
We'll see how long that lasts for. We've got Stuart who's got in touch. His 3-year-old Labrador Husky cross Shadow. Now, he rehomed Shadow from here at Harefield almost 2 years ago. Well done to you, Stuart. He says she loves her morning and evening walks, but has recently started dictating the route. He says at weekends, when we have all the time in the world, we'll happily stand on a street corner and wait the 5 minutes or so it takes for her to relent and head the way we want to go. But during the week, when time is tight, we usually just give in and follow the lead. He says, do we need to factor in that time with the weekday walks, or are there some other tricks we can use to help us guide her in the direction we want to go without the standoff? What would you say to that, Kris?
Well, firstly, well done, Stuart, because I think just allowing her time either to decide which way she wants to go and going with her, that's amazing, or just allowing her that 5 minutes just to take in her surrounds, making sure that everything forward or around her isn't scary. She feels comfortable to move forward. That is amazing. Well done, Stuart. Really, really good. What I would initially say is that what we've got to decide is, why do dogs not want to move? So why are they stuck to the spot? Is it the fact that they really want to go in the opposite direction? And there's things that we can do to then help us encourage them to move in the direction we want them to go in? Or is it the fact that actually she's worried about going forward? So what we've got to appreciate is our dogs smell, see, hear things so much more and so much different to what we do. So might there have been on a couple of days of the week when she doesn't want to go in that direction, is there a particular smell that's coming towards her that she's picked up and she thinks that might be a little bit sort of dangerous to go in that situation? Has she been reminded of something? Is it the fact that those days are the days when the traffic is heavier? So she's less inclined to go in that direction if she's a little bit sensitive to traffic. We need to consider her body language, because dogs communicate extremely well by using body language.
So what signals could you look out for then if you think it might be something that they're worried about?
So anything like lip licking, whale eye, which is where we can see the whites of their eyes, if their ears are slightly more pinned back. If we can have a look at Shadow when we think she's comfortable and happy, if her behaviour looks different to that when she's outside and not wanting to move in that direction, it's going to indicate that she's suffering from an emotion that isn't sort of feeling comfortable. It's either that she's fearful or she might be frustrated. So ears pinned back, tension around the mouth, so the corners of the mouth pulled back, tail maybe slightly lowered. Some dogs will properly tuck their tails, some don't, they just drop their tails. Being a little bit sort of vigilant, so looking around, say lip licking, paw raising, lowered body, that would indicate a dog that's worried about a situation. Normally frustration, you tend to find that the dog is trying to get towards the thing they want to go towards, and it might be that she's tried to do that and then she's been very, very good in the lead and she's decided that she's not going to pull Stuart along, so she's just sat and she's just waiting. But our frustrated dogs usually is forward, they're a little bit more upright. Hackles might be up, but they might be up as well if they're experiencing a fearful situation. The issue with frustration sometimes is there's lots of interplay with fear. So if we've got a dog that is worried about something and can't get away from it, then frustration usually means that they're going to then work hard at trying to drive the dog away from them. So what we get is we get a little bit of fear and a little bit of frustration. And then sometimes some of those sort of body language signals tend to be combined. Dogs Trust website's got some amazing resource on body language, so I definitely suggest that Stuart looks at that. And also, as he's got a dog that has lovely Shadow that was an ex-Dogs Trust dog, post-adoption support team, they're our phone-based team, they'll be able to talk him through lots and lots of advice to be able to ascertain whether Shadow is worried or whether she's just wanting to go that way.
Yeah, that's a really good point to make, actually. Well done to you, Stuart, for adopting from the Dogs Trust. And just to say, for anybody who does do that, because there are so many dogs up and down the country in Dogs Trust centres that are looking for their forever home, lots of amazing dogs there. You do get post-adoption support, so you can access that if you check on the website. And also there's a behaviour support line available. The details are on the website for that as well. So that's for people who have got some queries or questions that they want answering about their dogs. Head to the Dogs Trust website. And as you say, loads of great advice about things like, what to look out for the body language of your dog, when is it scared, all the different things like that is great advice. What if, though, Kris, you've just got a bit of power play at work here and your dog is just being a bit stubborn and is saying, do you know what, I prefer that walk, so I'm just going to sit here and I'm not going to go any further.
So I think just by listening and working through it together will absolutely build that relationship, and just not mean that Shadow is more likely to listen to Stuart in situations where he wants her or he's trying to sort of encourage her to do something that he would prefer her to do. But also it means that they will both grow in a relationship where they can actually communicate better between each other as well. I would say it's important to understand, is it something they're worried by, so therefore they want to go in that direction because they're worried? Or actually, is it just the fact that that direction is super, super exciting? So can we make that direction super, super exciting as well? So if it's the fact that when they get to the park, they meet their best friend, can we ask their best friend and their owner to maybe do a little road walk with us so that they still get that social time, we get that social time as well? Or is it the fact that actually there's really good sniffs at the park, so we want to get to the park because of that sniff opportunity? Well, we don't, but our dogs do.
I don't know about you, Kris, but I don't often go to the park for a sniff opportunity.
So if we can then just encourage Shadow to maybe have a little sniff at the verge going that way, and maybe doing that by just hiding a ball or taking a few treats and throwing the treats into the bush. I think I also remember a story of my old dog Tim, who I sadly lost a couple of years ago, but he had a dog that he was really quite worried by, that lived in the neighbourhood, would sometimes walk into the park in the morning. There was a nice gate, I used to call it a pea post. He would always sniff that in the morning, and some mornings he would walk into the park and some mornings he'd want to retreat home. I finally worked out that the mornings that he didn't want to go into the park were that his nemesis, who he wasn't very keen on, was peeing on the pea, as I call the pea post. So he was worried that as he entered into the park, the dog that he was scared
knew he was there.
Absolutely. So it could even be something like that.
So that's really interesting. As you say, it might be something that actually we can't see or detect, but the dog has picked up on, and there's something they're worried about. And again, I know we've talked about this before, but that whole thing about varying the walk, a lot of people will have maybe a long walk and a short walk, and the dog's going, hold on a second, you're trying to palm me off with a short walk today, I'm not having it, I want the long walk. So it's about varying it and making the shorter walks more exciting so that they've all got value, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And on that note as well, really good point, but you will get dogs as they get older. It's a little bit like us. Joints get sorer, muscles get sorer, they fatigue a little bit faster as well. So maybe those longer walks aren't appropriate for our slightly older dogs, or dogs that may be experiencing some sort of joint pain or muscular pain. So that we've got to consider that. So definitely just check with the vet to make sure the length of walk that you're going on is appropriate, but also the terrain that you're walking over. So little Tink really, really struggles with sort of stones. So
her little delicate paws.
Beaches. She really doesn't like it at all. And Maggie finds it quite difficult because although she's only 9.5, she probably has got a little bit of arthritis in her paws. So actually spreading her paws, trying to walk over sort of pebble beaches are quite difficult. And also any dogs that are sort of almost walking in stilts, like your taller sight hounds, again, they might find that a little bit of a struggle. So another thing that we could ask Stuart is that direction actually walking on nice, soft, easy grass? And is that direction walking on harder pavements? Is that direction avoiding the traffic? And is that direction, that direction heading into the traffic or the direction that she wants to go to is actually avoiding the traffic.
So it's trying to work out what she might be trying to avoid by saying, I don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned older dogs there as well, but also for younger dogs. I remember when we first adopted Bailey as a rescue puppy, she was about 4 months old. And I thought, a lovely little walk, I'll take her down to the place where they do the engraving of the dog tags and I'll get her the first dog tag. And got halfway down there and she just gave up because she was so small, she couldn't walk that far, so I ended up having to carry her, which is quite something, isn't it, when you carry your dog for a walk? But actually for little dogs as well, when they're younger, you know, they can't go as far, can they?
Yeah, and that might be another reason why we get dogs that might avoid their harnesses, avoid their leads, not want to go out through the front door, not want to get into the car. So there's loads of other reasons that might be causing them not to want to get in the car, not to have leads and collars on. But if that leads to that longer walk, that more tiring walk, that might be one of the causes.
And what about if you've got a dog who, I mean, most dogs love going for a walk, don't they? But if the dog's just like not doing it, you know, don't want to know, or just refuses to go,
then it's fine. As long as they have appropriate activity inside, outside the house, it's absolutely fine. It's better. So if we say, oh, a dog needs a walk, they don't need stress. So if it causes them more stress going out for a walk, we're going to have a dog that comes back more stressed than they did when they went out. So it's just providing enrichment, food toys, playtime, treat finding outside, ball finding outside, time spent with us, trick training, all that really good stuff, but they can do that within the boundaries of their home.
Amazing. Kris, thank you so much. So if you had to summarise for us then some top tips on how to stop your dog dictating the walk, what would you say?
Body language, so have a look at the website to pick up some tips about what to look for in your dogs, to understand what emotion they are experiencing at that time. Also allowing them to guide you. If actually it's okay us walking in the opposite direction to the direction they want to go in, let's do it. Let's walk with them and take up that partnership with them. Just being really, really mindful of dogs that are slightly older, those that have injuries or are recovering from injuries, those very young dogs. Just getting a vet check just in case you're unsure, and just making sure that if your dog really does want to go in that direction, because where they get to is really exciting, let's try and get the opposite direction just as exciting.
Kris, thank you so much. Great advice as always. And a big thank you to you for joining us for Leaps and Hounds. We'll be back next week with another episode answering some more of your dog training queries and questions. We look forward to seeing you then. Bye.